This software that I'm now introducing is like what we call a decentralized utility management software. You can manage customers, you can manage revenues and assets with that software, and it's basically all in one. It's open source and it's free of charge. Right? So the idea of making this software free of charge basically came from the understanding that for the mini-grid sector, we believe that time is running out to finally prove that mini-grids can be viable, profitable, and can scale. And as Inensus is already active in the sector for more than 15 years, and we are developing software for more than 10 years, and we are now deploying this software in Jumeme for more than 10,000 customers, we thought, well, shall we leave this software just for our own companies, or shall we basically make it available for everybody? And as we saw that there are so many smaller companies, especially out there, which are entering the mini-grid sector, that are still using a lot of manual management, we thought, okay, well, now it's the time to actually help these smaller companies, and especially the domestic companies, to professionalize their operations. And well, this is how we, at the end, made this MicroPowerManager open source. You can find all files on GitHub. There is a website, which I'm also using for my presentation, called micropowermanager.com. And there is also a free demo that you can click. We will do that later. I will show you the software and the demonstration. So at the end, the software integrates prepayment metering. We are integrated with Kalen meters, with Spark meter for now. We're currently integrating with Inensus and with Stron. We are open to integrating with more metering companies. And of course, this is open source, right? You can do with this software whatever you like. You can integrate whatever you like. You can change the code. You can adapt it to your own needs as you deem fit. We would, of course, always welcome if you make changes that you share back to the general community. And we would invite everybody to join in and make this software the best software that we could possibly have in the mini-grid sector to manage our customers and assets. You can sell like appliances, goods through deferred payment schemes through the software. You can have real-time asset monitoring. It's relatively basic still, but we are working on this and making it more usable, more complex, and more easily understandable. Then we have a two-way SMS messaging system, which basically comes free of charge with the software. It's an Android app that you just install on a mobile phone that communicates with your server backend. You can send out SMSs, mass SMSs also. You can run your marketing campaigns on that. You can also receive SMSs from customers that are then displayed on this platform. You can use a ticketing system that is integrated here to send messages out to your staff in the field through SMS or through an Android app. We prefer the SMS communication because it's more reliable in rural areas. And they can also respond, and then all tickets and replies end up in this ticketing system. You can, for example, say, here, a person in this village, please go and clean the PV modules, the PV panels. And once he's ready, he can then answer, hey, I've done the job. And then the ticketing system also allows you to allocate a certain payment to that service so that the payment can also be done. And then we have a centralized CRM database. We've got all customer data, all meter data centralized on one server. So the whole thing has been developed with, as I said, 15 years of experience in the sector from Inensus. And now I believe that it should not only be Inensus developing this further, but I would really like to invite everybody to contribute here and to share also experiences, to tell us what you like to be changed and to be improved. One of the important features of this software is that the software runs on your own server. So you don't need to actually provide your data to a third party. You can have full control of your data. You can have it all in-house basically. And that of course increases security of your data. We have API access points so that the integration with other software is relatively easy. And of course, as I said, this is an open source community and everybody is very much welcome to contribute. If you need services, if you cannot set up this software on your own, then of course we are, as Inensus, we are here to support you. At the moment, we can do it at a very low cost, as we are currently being supported by Dune Foundation, who provided us with a starting budget to get the software out to the mini-grid operators. This funding window is still open till, say, early middle next year. Once it is closed, this funder window is closed, we definitely then also have to charge for the services, but well, don't be afraid, these are reasonable charges. We want to cover our cost plus a little margin. So that is all fine, but the software is also on GitHub, is also documented in a way that you should be able to install it yourself if you have a little bit of IT knowledge and IT background. Okay, let's have a look into the demo software here. So this is the dashboard. This is uses data which is artificial. There's no real data in there because, of course, we also have to protect our own customers' data. You can either go through the menu on the left, or you can approach the whole thing through this map and then select one of these two clusters here, for example. Let me click on this one cluster. Then you get the cumulated data for these clusters, like what percentage of customers do you have in which village, what is the revenue from each of the villages over time, and so on. Then you can zoom in, you can see where the villages are, you can click on one of the villages. Then you see here the cumulated data, energy sold, processed transactions, the revenue that you made. Then here's a little bit of data about the technology. You can zoom in by using the sliders here, and then get, for example, the energy output from solar PV over time, or the battery state of charge here over a certain time. You can also compare the generated electricity versus the sold electricity and then see how efficient your system actually is. You can then go and see like how your revenue splits into the various customer groups and how well they compare, like the actual revenues compared to the targets that you can set in the software. And then, of course, we also have like geo locations for all the meters. Here is an example. The geolocation tagging basically works through another Android app, which is also available with a free of charge open source package. When you register a customer, you basically stand in front of the house of the customer. When you install the meter, you say, now activate the meter, and then your mobile phone with the Android app takes the GPS coordinates. And then, of course, the whole thing shows up here, and you can then click on the meter, and then you get all the meter data. You can then click on the customer, you can go to the customer page. On the customer page, you see like what the customer paid over time, in what month. You can do more detailed analysis over here. And then we have the SMS history, all SMSs that have been sent to the customer, that have been received from the customer, all the transactions that the customer has had with you. Here you can sell assets, like sell appliances to the customer from a predefined list that you can define under another a button over here on the left. And you can set user tickets. You can then, like whenever, like we have a call center usually in Jumemo, for example, but other mini-grid operators have the same thing to support their customers. And whenever a customer calls, then the call center agent basically makes recordings about what has been discussed. And that then shows up here. If you derive a task for one of your employees from that talk, the call center agent can directly send that task through this ticketing system to the right person within your company to perform that task. And then once the task has been completed, then this ticketing system receives a message basically to clear the task. Each customer can have various meters. Well, this customer just has one meter. You can then also see where the meter is like positioned geographically. So that is the customer. We also have an agents app because there are some areas which do not have mobile networks or mobile network availability. Some mini-grid companies prefer to use agent apps. So in that case, you may just install satellite communication, which has become relatively affordable over the recent years. Like for $30 a month, you can already get a proper satellite communication, and then you can connect your mobile devices, mobile phones, like smartphones or tablet PCs, and that tablet PC can then have this agent app. And you can create agents here, you can set the commissions for the agents, and then the agents basically do the customer communication and also the sales of your electricity. You can then go to the customer list, for example, see all the customers, and from here you also get to the customer pages, as I have shown before. You can view all the transactions, as you can go into detail with the transactions, and then see all the details of the transactions up to like what has been sent, what data has been sent to, in this case, Vodacom in Tanzania. By the way, from a mobile provider integration point of view, we're integrated with Vodacom and Airtel in Tanzania. We're currently integrating with USSD payments in Nigeria through a USSD payment provider. And we are currently integrating with mobile providers in Uganda. Under this Dune Foundation grant, we're happy to also support you with additional integration in other countries. We just need your advice and like which countries and which providers we're supposed to go for. You can set tariffs here, of course. I talked about the revenue targets for the various mini grids and the various customer groups. You can set them here. You can generate reports and download the reports here as an Excel spreadsheet for further evaluation. You can then like indicate the various customer groups and the connection groups. This is here the SMS tool where you can then send SMSs. You can send, for example, SMSs to all households in all your mini grids. Or you can say, I want to just send the SMS to all households in Tumbe, for example, in the village Tumbe. And then you send your message and run your marketing campaign through that. You can also send SMSs to individual people, which you can also do through the customer and client dashboard. Here, asset type, this is where you define your appliances that you sell through the system to your customers, and you can run, like, get paid through a deferred payment scheme, which is also integrated, so the customers get reminded of the payment through the system. You can also make the payment of the appliances as a part, like a fixed part kind of your tariff scheme. That is all integrated. And here under maintenance, you can assign maintenance jobs to on-site staff. For example, as I said before, please go and clean the panels, the PV panels. And you will get paid whatever, I don't know, 1,000 shillings for that. I don't know, whatever. Here you can then define new clusters of mini grids, new villages, and new mini grids as such. And then we have the integration with Spark Meter down here, which will soon be become an add-on, and we will restructure this whole page a little bit to put all the setting parts up here to make it a little bit easier to to oversee and to manage. So that is a quick run through of what this tool can do. I'm happy to take your questions and answer your questions. I think we have a few minutes left to go for Q&A. Thank you.
Thanks, Nico. I just have to say that that's super impressive and really incredible that you've put this out there for free for everyone. So thank you so much for presenting that to us. I'm assuming there's a whole bunch of questions. I would encourage you to just raise your hand if you have, if you can see how to raise your hand on Zoom. But if not, you can just unmute yourself and ask Nico any questions that you might have.
Hey, Nico, this is Jude. That's really amazing. Thank you so much. And it's unbelievable that this is free. Thank you. The question I have is this, when, like the meters themselves, is this going to be integrated with meters, like you say, Spark Meter, Stimaco, other meter providers?
Right.
Or how do you manage, what does the actual data collection in the field?
Right, so it is integrated, like the software is integrated with Spark Meter already, with Kalen meters, and we are currently integrating with Inensus and with Stron. We are in contact with Stimaco, but we haven't started the integration with Stimaco yet. We're happy to do so, but Stimaco asked us to find a demo company to actually get started with the integration. So if somebody uses Stimaco meters and would like us to integrate with Stimaco, we would be happy to help you out and integrate Stimaco. And that would not take much time, I guess. It would take a few weeks only.
Thank you. That's very encouraging.
Well, and of course, if there are other meters that you would like us to integrate, you let us know. We're happy to help you out on that. Of course, you can also, as I said, it's open source. You can just download it and get your own IT staff on it and integrate it yourself.
Hi, Nico. This is Adrian from PowerGen.
Hi, Adrian.
Hey, great stuff. I really admire the fact that this is open source. I think you've incorporated several things that personally, by working in mini grids, I've seen as a challenge to us, actually new mini grid companies or any other company that supports energy as a service. I think you've given me a challenge. So we've got our in-house in-house platform, and this is a great challenge to see whether we can compete with this one or we have to take the open source one. We have our own management software, but great stuff. I wouldn't want to ask questions, but to say congratulations, and I think this is a great stuff. It'll really change the way people develop the platforms and use them internally. But you've shared it, and I think through 15 years of experience, you've included some things that most new developers wouldn't know they need. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Adrian. So the idea was, or like what we have seen over the last years, is that many mini-grid developers started developing their own software. But at the end, we thought it was basically wasted time and effort, because these features that many of us and you started developing at that time were already existing in our platform. And we said, hey, why are we reinventing the wheel over and over again? Why can't we just use, because there are resources out there, right? There are resources to develop software, obviously. Why can't we just join hands and say, hey, well, let's use these resources to make this open source software really perfect, right? Because at the end, the uniqueness of a mini-grid company may be in the software, but it may also be in other parts of the business, right? And I don't think the software should be what really distinguishes the mini-grid companies. The way we treat the customer should potentially be the way we actually run businesses around the mini-grids, the way we attract additional businesses to our mini-grids. That should be the differentiator. But the software should be open source and should be like the best that could potentially be available. And for that, we need to contribute, all of us.
Definitely, definitely.
Hi, this is Frederick from NG PowerCore. And Nico, thanks a lot for your very clear presentation. And I must say, I'm really impressed by the tool. I see a lot of functionalities that are needed, and it looks like very, very straightforward. So well done. I was wondering, do you use that same system to report your revenues to TRA, for instance, in Tanzania?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. There is a link basically where this software, where the database sends out data on a daily basis to a Microsoft computer basically. And from there, the operator, our accountant, just checks if everything is correct and then clicks a button and out it goes. We on purpose have this one manual step in between, because you never know what software does if it's operating completely independently. So therefore we said, like, we want to have one person at least having one last look before it's being sent. Yeah, but it's integrated, exactly.
Exactly. Thanks. Really interesting.
Great. Any further questions for Nico?
This is Jude again from RI Cameroon. Nico, you said it that it's possible to relate with you with Inensus on if you can integrate this on your own. Is that the same for suggestions? Is there a specific place to do that?
Suggestions can always be collected on GitHub. I'm not sure how familiar you are with GitHub. I am not that much. I have my IT specialist here. Let me see if I can share my screen once more quickly so that I can show you how the GitHub looks like. This is basically where you can find all the files, where you can download all the files, where you can upload files, where you can contribute with new code, but where you can also leave your suggestions. But you can always also contact Inensus directly. There is also on the MicroPowerManager.com website, you should find somewhere our contact details. Where are they? Contacts here, get support feature. So I don't even find it right now, but you will find us, I'm pretty sure. You can also go to Inensus.com and then like mail us or send us a message or call me, whatever. Yes, we would collect suggestions, especially, of course, from people who use the software, right? Of course, we are now most interested to get this out to as many companies as possible, to make sure that many companies use this. For now, this software is being used right now, as I said, for in Jumeme for roughly 10,000 connections. Niotropical Technologies is using the software, and we're currently supporting RubyTech utilities in Nigeria to set this software up with their mini grids. And we're looking forward to also having all of you using this system. And we are currently founding another company as Inensus, another company in Uganda, where we will also use the software, and therefore we are integrating it with the Ugandan telecom network operators. Yeah, but as I said, like if you start using the system and putting some effort from your side to integrate it, then we're happy to support you and also answer to your request for changes and for additional features and so on. As I said, we have a little funding available from Dune Foundation to support all of this until early next year. So the sooner you come, the more support you can get from us.
How much does this support cost right now with this, knowing that you have this support from Dune?
So Dune, just to be very transparent, we received a grant of 170,000 euros from Dune Foundation, out of which approximately half a little bit more than half has been used up to bring the software to the level and the website to the level and the initial integrations with Nigeria to the level where they are now. And then there is, as I said, a little bit less than half available to support other companies. So like we have 2.5 full-time staff working on this. So if you come now, then we will probably be available to support you quite quickly with a few days here and there, setting it up for you, supporting you with your own server selection and the server requirements, and then also helping you with the integration with your mobile money providers and with your meter providers.
Thanks, Nico. We have a couple other people.
Yeah,
we're running out of time. I just wanted to maybe collect two questions. So I see Viv and then Ola Lakan as well. So Viv, why don't you go first, and then before Nico answers, let Ola Lakan ask his question as well.
Hey Nico, this is Viv. How are you doing? Great to see where this has come. I know we discussed this 18 months ago.
Right.
And we took the decision not to make the investment in this platform, and instead have done some development on our own. Really good to see. Very pleased on the open source angle. Two things. One, definitely putting a vote in for Steamer co-integration. Very real and current right now. Mm-hmm. The second thing is, I noticed that you were able to present generated power or generated energy versus consumed energy, but I didn't see anything else that relates to asset monitoring. How is that being done currently?
Yeah, well, as I said, the asset monitoring is in a relatively early stage. Let me just show you. Like we have battery state of charges, and then the energy diagram, and then, as I said, as you said already, the energy sold versus energy delivered. Well, that's it for now. We believe that this is like for the everyday operation, this is already a good start. We are currently developing under German's ZIM project, co-funded by the German government, some artificial intelligence algorithms around projections of load, projections of generation of solar electricity. And then we run this whole thing through linear and or quadratic. At the moment, we're using linear optimization tool, or in the future, we may use quadratic optimization to project and predict the best points in time to switch on and off the diesel generators, or to apply load management approaches, or even time of use setting, dynamic time of use setting where required. That will be a part which we are currently developing for ourselves. We are not 100% sure if we will make it open source because we are paying heavily for that from our own resources at the moment. So maybe that could be an add-on at some point in time for interested customers who would like to utilize on a pay-per-use basis or whatever. But yeah, this is under development, but everything that I have presented so far is completely free. It's like whatever we are using in Jumemo, we don't need anything else for now. So that is what is available free of charge to everybody. And we believe that this is very efficient and very much sufficient to operate a medium-sized decentralized utility.
Great, thanks.
Ola Lakan, you'll be the last question for now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Nico, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I really commend your presentation, and you've actually done a great job.
Thank you.
So my question is, how accessible is the software now? How do we access the software?
Sorry, how do we assess software?
The software. You said, yeah, access it.
How do we access the software? Okay, so if you can still see my screen, I'm on the MicroPowerManager.com website. Just go to that website. There is view on GitHub. There is a link to GitHub. Just click on it. That will take you to GitHub. And GitHub is the repository where you can download all the codes, all the files, and then install that on your server.
Okay. So after the installation, we can meet you for further engagement.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Great. So Nico, clearly there's a lot of interest. I'm really, really happy both for you and for the developers who have shown interest that this tool can be both used and useful. I've just put the link into the chat just to answer Olakan's question as well. You can click on that and you can start looking into how to get this running on your servers after the AGM. Don't multitask. I'm sure everyone will just click it immediately anyways. But Nico, I'm just going to say thank you so much, and we'll switch back over the screen.